Alright bro, be honest. Does it sound like you? You come back from a long day of work or school and all you've been able to think about all day is how great it's going to feel to get home and jump onto your gaming console. And as soon as you get home, that's what you do. You immediately jump on your sofa and start playing. But in the back of your mind, you know you've got shit to do today. You know you were supposed to get started on your homework, finally get to the gym, finally spend some time with your family, and finally get around to working on that project that you've been thinking about. But you can't resist the temptation of teaching all these bots who's boss.
Many hours later.
Then before you know it, it's 1 AM and you're sitting there telling yourself one more game. Then when you finally get around to getting ready for bed, you're brushing your teeth and you realise you had so much shit planned for today. But you tell yourself, you know what, it's okay, I'll just do it tomorrow. And the cycle repeats. If that sounded relatable in any way, then you've probably got a gaming addiction. And I know that because this was my reality for a long time. I tried to escape my responsibilities, my stresses, and if I'm being honest, my depression by spending around 2 to even sometimes 7 hours a day gaming. And I'm not alone here because gaming addictions have become more and more common around the world, as gaming itself has become a hobby that most people actually indulge in. And if you're a bit of a nerd and you care about stats, approximately 81% of Gen Z admit to playing video games regularly. And it's not a surprise because if we're being honest, gaming is fun. That's the whole point. People do it. And especially now in a society that's, extremely lonely and isolated, it offers people a way of, creating a community. And as a casual gamer myself, I have to admit that I probably have more combined hours of, gaming and even just watching other people play games as well. More hours than I'd like to admit. Especially since, probably like many of you, I was introduced to gaming at a really young age. I was around 3 or 4 when I first played video games. And I think my first console was a Nintendo 64. And I used to play it with my sister. She used to beat me all the time, even though she was cheating, of course. And it really gave me the ability to basically mentally detach from where I was. My young brain would be so engulfed in what I was playing, even with the shitty Nintendo 64 graphics. It was still very immersive for my very young and impressionable brain. And I remember being able to sit there for hours and just watch my sister play something and kind of forget where I was, kind of forget my surroundings. And this behavior of using gaming as a form of escapism is what many young men actually choose, over this rotten society that we live in that barely offers anything to young men. Because if I'm being honest, I think most guys would be fine gaming in moderation if they actually felt a connection to a community or had decent relationship prospects or even economic prospects, and didn't have to potentially have 4 side hustles and take massive financial risks in order just to own property. Or even if they were just raised in a loving family that actually supported them and didn't just leave them in front of the TV for hours on end with access to extremely addictive technology. But surprise, surprise, most of us don't have any of that, do we? Because when you think about it, the reason that most guys are turning to gaming isn't just because they're just bored. It's not just out of pure boredom. Many young men feel that gaming offers them something that they're not actually able to attain in real life. So that's, a sense of progression, community, discovery, competition, and even adventure. Because these are aspects of human life that our ancestors all indulged in. Because these are the things that, modern society has kind of stripped back from the human experience. And gaming literally offers you basically, an imitation of these feelings that we're supposed to be feeling in regular life. And it's really just to pacify us. And this is where I think the main issue of gaming lies. Because gaming itself isn't the issue here. It's the fact that 90% of people that actually do play video games do it in a really unhealthy way. Because by abusing video games as a form of escapism, it actually reduces your ability to, live a life that you actually enjoy. Alright, let's be honest, bro. If you put all the hours that you've put into playing video games, watching other people play them, into something productive, by this time in your life, you'd have something to show for it. You'd definitely be living a better life. And you'd definitely have something more to show for it, than just bragging rights over your mates and some fucking shitty COD montages. Because alright, let's be honest with each other here. All the hours that you put into gaming, it's literally a black hole leading to nowhere. There's literally no end goal to them, is there? I can already hear you saying, but I want to be a pro gamer. Let's be honest, 99% of you guys do not have what it takes to be a pro gamer. That's just what it is, alright? So stop using that as cope. It's hard to justify putting that much time and energy into them. Because even if you are at the lower end of the spectrum of, gamers, so let's say you spend 1 hour a day gaming. If you add all those 1 hour sessions a day throughout the year, that's basically 2 weeks of gaming. So if you can look at me dead in the eyes and be honest here, if you spent 2 weeks, you know, doing almost anything else, you'd have something to show for it, wouldn't you? You'd be like, okay, I did this thing for 2 weeks, and now I can do this. With gaming, there's no end result like that, is there? It's just like, I spent 2 weeks playing COD, and now I can quit scope. Or, you know, now I've got 100 wins on Warzone. Like, well fucking done, mate. No one gives a shit, do they?
260 solo wins. Hell yeah, let's go. Not bad considering I'm 41 years old.
Okay, so am I saying to, you know, just get rid of gaming completely, just throw your PlayStation in a bin, you know, sell it on eBay? No, actually I'm not. But what I am saying is that gaming is basically a bit like junk food. So it feels great in the moment, but if you abuse it, it will definitely destroy your life. So I would really stress this, guys. It's very important to game in moderation. You don't always have to be on the game, bro. You don't always have to be on it. I know your friends that, you know, play video games every day. They can be like, oh, where are you today? Just say, I'm busy, I'm doing something else, bro. And that's especially if you're someone who's, you know, not satisfied with their life right now, which I'm guessing most of you probably aren't. Because that's someone who is very unsatisfied with their life. I know that gaming becomes a form of escapism. So if you're going through a tough time right now in life, bro, I really, really recommend you step away from gaming and take the time to focus and prioritize yourself. Because from experience, I can tell you that it will be, you know, used as a form of escapism, because it will become something where you kind of depend on it to, you know, give you anything or give you some sort of joy, when really you should be getting joy from your everyday life. So for me personally, I'm only able to fit in gaming sessions when I've actually completed all my tasks and goals for a day and actually have some free time. And this way it actually feels like, you know, you kind of deserve to have a bit of fun and just blow off some steam after, you know, putting a lot of time into focusing on yourself. And this way you don't, you know, get into the cycle of putting, you know, short-term satisfaction over, you know, reaching your goals and your dreams, which is something I did for a long time. So by giving yourself, you know, tasks and goals to do throughout the day, and then only engaging in, you know, instantly gratifying activities like gaming and social media, once these, you know, tasks and goals have been ticked off for the day, I feel like that's the best way to actually incorporate gaming into your life. So rather than it being like a crutch that you kind of depend on to, you know, basically give you a reason to live almost, to kind of give you that little bit of excitement that you're missing in your daily life. This will actually set you up to actually have a life that is fulfilling. So one that you're actually have some, you know, focus to, rather than prioritizing, you know, short-term enjoyment over everything else in life. And you'll eventually condition your mind to not go for the easy option all the time. And this is something that I'm actually really passionate about, because I know how easy it is for young men to go down this route of escapism and just relying on gaming to distract them from how miserable they are. Because this is a route that I easily could have gone down and could have got lost in. Especially since as young men, people seem to feel like we've just got it sorted, like we can figure it out ourselves. So we're often kind of left to our own devices, literally. So your parents will literally get you a TV, buy you a console, and leave you there in front of it all day and be like, oh, why does he never come down and talk to us? Why does he never do this? Like, you don't, like, it's because you've given him access to something that releases so much dopamine that having a conversation with his family can't even compete to it. So trying to get rid of that headspace before you get too deep into it is really important. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, is to limit your gaming, to game in moderation. Don't even let it become something that you have to beat. And if that is what it is for you now, I urge you to actually take steps to, you know, kind of take a step back from it and not have to rely on it so much. Because I know it does seem like an innocent hobby, but the way most people actually use gaming is not really used, it's abused. And it's something that I know a lot of, you know, young men kind of just get sucked into it. They almost allow it to become their identity, you know, a gamer. I'm a gamer. I know so many young men will fall into the trap of gaming addiction at a young age, and people will just tend to ignore us and think that it's just an innocent hobby. But I'm telling you that, you know, the abuse of gaming has real consequences in life. I want to warn you and all the other young men on this path that is leading nowhere, this path of, you know, just wasting countless hours every day into something that has no fruits to bear, something that literally gives you joy in the moment but provides nothing long term. And to be honest, I owe a lot of the progress that I've been able to make in my life these last couple of years to the fact that I've become less and less reliant on the need to, you know, be constantly stimulated by things like gaming and social media, and actively trying to replace them with hobbies that actually, you know, give me fulfillment and actually make me feel happier in the long term. So if that's something that you want to learn more about, click on this video right here. And as always, I appreciate your attention. All right, peace.